lastly, for this section, we want to flow along surface after we've done a few steps, right? So I showed you twin curve. So I'm gonna select all, right click on the group, and you can select all, and then I can Control C and Control V. It'll copy and paste exactly where you had it, and then you can kind of click and drag. Just don't click out of it, otherwise you'll have two on top of each other. So that's how I copied that area. So then for the flow along surface, I did the same thing. I can either select it or select all, copy, paste. Sometimes you gotta wait a second if it's a heavy file, a heavy script. So these are my two that I had before. And you can kind of connect scripts. It doesn't always work for everything, but for simpler scripts, you can start just play around with how things may work with each other. I started with a 2D definition here, and because of that, I would like to use this definition instead of my own rep. So this is my own rep right here, and instead of that, I can take this relay, I can take this group. These are the two most important things that this is connected to, right? So this would be my rep. Let's say I bake this. If I bake this would be the thing that the geometry that would actually flow along this surface, right? So you treat it similarly. You can either connect to it, or you can connect this and to the geometry. Let's say I just connect to it for now. I'm turning this off and this off because right now it's conflicting with our current geometry. So this has been transformed and into this. The next thing you want your surface. So if this is the surface that you want, then great, then that works. But if it's not, then make sure you take the surface that you want and input it here. What I showed before was surface to surface, reparameterized, and with a flip in between, right? Right now you can see that it's not that. It's prep to deprep with a graft. So the way that I am using it here is because I had tried it out, let's say here, try it out on this cube. This cube has multiple faces. Each face is considered a surface. But if I were to input it into a surface definition, it would not read it as a surface. It would just stay orange. If I did, however, explode, it turns the ISO curves on. They are technically multiple surfaces, right? But you know that's just various. So instead, what I'm gonna do is the rep remains together. I want to extract each of the surfaces. I'm going to set one rep instead of this surface. And now that this is in, I'm going to explode it. Deep rep. Then it's going to explode into faces, edges, vertices. So faces is what I want. It will create a list of faces of each one. It's already doing it. It's flipped though. Let me do this. There we go. So I'm going to turn off flip. You don't need it in every single case. Sometimes, like in a cube for sure, all the surfaces are already flipped. So it will map all these tween curves extruded into the surfaces of each of this cube. It's grafted because if you don't graft it, it won't read all the surfaces the way that you want them to. So this way the graft is making kind of a tree versus flatten, which makes one. Let me show you with a list. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3, regular list on drip surfaces with flatten. Literally makes everything flat. Here makes a list of all these at 0 each one instead of 0, 1, 2, 3. So we will end up with a graft. This is more like a tree. Make sure it's reparameterized, and there you go. Something that you can also do is like what I showed, which is list item. If you list the item, then you can choose out of 6 faces, right? Type in 6, index, oops, not there, index it, and you remove the graft, and then you can see which face gets it.